Okay, we'll introduce you first, then go ahead.
Hi, my name is Larry Clark. I was born and raised here and am deeply committed to this county. I graduated from a Harrison County high school, and all three of my daughters did as well. All five of my grandchildren are or will be attending schools in this county. However, I did not come here this evening to talk about me and my family. I came here to talk about you and yours and what I have to offer you as a supervisor.
Thank you. Brian?
I'm Brian Reif. I live in Mondamin with my wife Lacey, and we have 3 children. Lacey also serves on the Mondamin City Council. She works as an occupational therapist in Omaha Children's Hospital. I'm a Christian. I serve as an elder at my church in Mondamin Church of Christ. I farm with my dad. I have a truck and haul grain. I sell seed, and I'm also the fire chief on the Mondamin Fire Department. I served 6 years on the Mondamin City Council, and then I served 6 years as mayor in Mondamin. I am the incumbent running again for a seat. This will be my second term that I'm seeking. As part of being a supervisor, I serve on many boards, including Golden Hills, which I'm the chair of. I'm a conservative, I'm fiscally conservative. I'm a lifelong Harrison County resident. I believe I'm 4th generation, and I'm a 2000 graduate of West Harrison. I'm very invested into this community. I love Harrison County, and I would love your support on June 2nd.
Thank you. Michelle?
Michelle Sturts. I'm Michelle Sturts, a resident of Harrison County since I was early teens. I'm a 4th generation Harrison County resident. I graduated from Missouri Valley High School. After graduation, I went on to work in Omaha and Council Bluffs. I was in higher education for over 35 years. I worked my way up from the entry level to all the way up to the director, overseeing the records and registration offices of 2 colleges, Clarkston College and Iowa Western. I have experience in budget management, policy development, and I have a lot of customer service experience. After 35 years, I decided it was time to come back and serve the community of where I am from. I just knew that there was more to work than just working outside Harrison, working outside Harrison County. So I started working as a part-time business owner. I did some casseroles, and then the flood of 19 kind of stopped that. So then I went and worked at the USDA office along with working at Creighton University. And after that, then I started substitute teaching. Still have a small business. I enjoy doing concessions. I'm a business owner. I've been doing this with my family for over 10 years. So I have the experience of running a business and the budget there and just the customer service and just serving individuals and working with people and just visiting with people. So that's kind of what I do, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, now Larry, we will start with the questions, and we'll start with you on this end. What do you see as the top 3 priorities for Harrison County over the next 4 years?
I believe the top 3 priorities: number 1, increase the tax base; number 2, manage the budget; number 3, make sure the secondary roads department is run efficiently while still meeting needs of our citizens. A little explanation on number 1, increasing the tax base. That does not mean increased taxes, okay? By increasing the tax base, we have a finite number of properties in the county, and they are all assessed. Okay? If we bring in more properties, whether it's residential, commercial, whatever, we have more properties to tax, so our burden stays the same, or ideally goes down. So that to me is the main priority.
Okay, Brian?
Yeah, roads and bridges is the biggest thing we need to work on. We have a bridge problem in Harrison County, and we also have the issues with our seal coat roads. We need to find a solution to repair those and find a better way to repair our roads than seal coat. Growth is a big thing for Harrison County, as Larry pointed out. If we can increase housing, have more people here to spread that burden across, then that will bring everybody's taxes down. And then property taxes, we have to keep that budget intact and make sure we're holding people accountable on their budgets.
Okay, thank you. Michelle?
My top three are also property taxes and responsible budgeting. Working with department heads to understand what their wants and needs are, to see if the county has a 5-year plan, just to see where each department is and how that fits within Harrison County. My second one would be public safety. I want to make sure that we have public safety for every citizen in Harrison County, not only for our youth, such things as sex trafficking, but also for our elderly with crimes and scams. So that's a top one for me. Also, the third one would be bridges and roads, and make sure that we have adequate, safe bridges and roads. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with you on this one, Brian. How will you ensure the county budget is managed responsibly while still meeting community needs?
Yeah, it's tough. As state mandates come down, there's things that we have to pay for that the money's not there. I've worked with the budget director. Last year we had a balanced budget. It was the first time in a long time Harrison County has had a balanced budget. That was changed in a late vote. I was the only no vote on that, and we no longer had a balanced budget, but I will continue to work with the budget director and the other department heads to ensure that we balance the budget. That is our number one job as supervisors, is to balance the budget for you folks. And I will continue to work with the other department heads to get that budget balanced.
Michelle?
Mine would also be what they currently did this year with the budget, to review it, to go over as much as they could, work with the department heads to understand what the wants and needs are. Again, going back to a plan, what's the wants, what's the needs, that was always drilled in my head, what's a want, what's a need, and then also understanding each department and what their responsibilities are and what their wants and needs. And then also working with to see if there's a 5-year plan again, if there's a 5-year plan, just because again, everything's expensive and there's just not enough money to go around. So thank you.
Okay, Michelle, we're going to start with you, and I remind you guys, get those microphones over closer to your...
Larry didn't get to answer that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Larry. Yeah.
You didn't want to hear it.
No, I want to hear what you got to say.
Just kidding, just kidding. I guess I'm going to kind of mirror what Brian and Michelle said. I think by working with the other supervisors, number one, and the heads of all the departments of all the county positions, to prioritize what needs to be done in each respective entity. Each department head, along with their people under them, should know better than anyone what is needed most. Okay? To me, this is the most common sense approach to management. And then, again, balancing that budget by prioritizing all those needs.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Now, Michelle, what is your approach to maintaining and improving county roads, bridges, and other infrastructure?
Well, I would have to say that it would be working with the county engineer and the secondary roads department. The county engineer comes to the meetings quite regularly and gives an update. Of course, I don't ever always have, because I'm just in the audience, I don't have the information. So it'd really be working with him to understand what the needs are, and the other supervisors who are currently on the board, just to understand where we're at and where we're going. I guess the one thing that I think of is this year, we had a mild winter, and so they would sure have some excess, and maybe where did they use the money that they had from not having to plow the road so much this year. And so, but again, it's just really going back and working with the department head. So thank you.
Okay, I will not forget you this time, Larry.
Okay. First of all, I would like to meet with the secondary roads employees to ask questions and receive feedback directly from them. Again, they know better what's needed than anybody else. I will go directly to their shops. Can't do this every week, but once a month, go to one shop, the next month, go to the next, or maybe twice a month, depending on their time. I will go directly to the shops at the beginning or the end of their day and meet with them. Again, these workers know better than anybody else what needs to be done. It's all about communication, which is a pillar of my common sense approach to management.
Okay, Brian?
Yeah, with roads, we have an engineer hired. He's a very smart engineer, and we got pretty lucky with a retirement and then this engineer showing up. The big thing is to leverage the dollars. Right now, roads is funded by 25% tax dollars and the rest of it's federal and state aid. We need to continue to leverage those dollars for our roads and bridges and do what's best for Harrison County. If we can bring some of those state and federal dollars in here, we're going to benefit. So working with that engineer, I think we need to continue to maybe bring the maintainers off of the road a little bit. I get a lot of complaints about the roads getting bladed too much, too dusty, chewing the rock up. So we're working with some ways that we can reduce the hours the road graders are on the road, and that'll help stretch out the life of those road graders in Harrison County.
Thank you. Okay, how should Harrison County balance agricultural interests and residential and commercial development? Larry, we'll start with you.
In real estate, there is a principle of highest and best use, which should be considered in all development decisions. We see this come into play in larger cities such as Des Moines when there is a disagreement on developing high CSR crop ground that is close to the town, land for commercial or residential development. But it will come into play here eventually. I also believe we should protect citizens from the abuse of eminent domain. I strongly oppose any private entity attempting to use eminent domain.
Okay, Brian?
We have to protect our ag land. They're not making any more of it. I think with our economic growth, we need to focus and work with the towns and build onto our towns, our communities. That's where the infrastructure already is. They have water and sewer, and that'll help preserve our ag land. We have to keep a balance here in Harrison County to keep Harrison County as great as it is. To me, that's what makes Harrison County, is having that balance of ag and residential. So keeping that balance and following our ordinances. We have the comprehensive plan that is laid out by you folks. You're the ones who give the input on that comprehensive plan. So from supervisor standpoint, we need to follow what you've laid out for us when it comes to rezoning.
Okay, Michelle?
I agree with Brian on quite a bit of this. Ag is very important to Harrison County, and again, we don't make any more land, so it's very important. However, I believe that there's an area in Harrison County where commercial development can also be utilized. In a lot of towns, we have some older buildings that are just sitting there, maybe empty. Is there a way that a business can come in and do something with those buildings? Instead of going out of city limits, is there a way to utilize some of those buildings, maybe with some grants, and refurbish those? Or if it can't be refurbished, then can it be torn down and a building be built there? But I think that there are areas in Harrison County that commercial can be done, and I think that there's areas for that. Then I also think we need to utilize where we're at with some of our towns also.
Okay. Number 5, what steps would you take to support rural communities and small towns within the county? And Brian, we'll start with you.
Being available is a big thing. When cities need something, whether it's roads, we work together on the landfills. There's different things where the communities come together with the county. We have to continue to build those relationships and keep those relationships. If there's street projects that the cities need and the county's doing some road projects, we can partner and hopefully save the town some money because we already have a contractor in the area. That's one of the big ways to work with them. I don't know that there's 5 steps that we can come up with, but just working together with the city councils and the mayors, trying to find what's best.
Okay, Michelle?
I agree with that one, that you need to get to know, what's going on in the small towns, your city councils, working with your mayor, your chamber, what are their wants, needs, how can board of supervisors help, and then is there any areas that can be shared? Right now, the board of supervisors is working with, Monona County to share some services, and I think that's great. And I think that down the road, there may need to be other, sharing of services like what they're doing with the engineers. And so I think that, again, you just have to get to know, and there has to be a lot of communication back and forth, so, yes.
Okay. How do you plan to improve transparency and communication between the Board of Supervisors? Oh, Larry, I forgot you again. I don't know. Yeah, you jump right in there. Don't let me forget.
I won't. Okay, this is pretty special to me anyway. Small towns are the key to development in the county. With city water and city sewer, as has been told, it is much more affordable to build, whether residential or commercial. We must take advantage of and promote what Harrison County has to offer. Natural beauty, low crime, proximity to the Omaha, Council Bluffs metro area. But I want to expand a little bit on small towns. We are all small towns. All the towns in Harrison County are considered extremely small, even the towns on Highway 30. Missouri Valley, Logan, Woodbine, Dunlap, they are all small towns. So it's not just for the little tiny towns, it's for all the small towns, and we need to promote that infrastructure so that we can use and grow all the towns in the county.
Okay. How do you plan to improve transparency and communication between the Board of Supervisors and residents? And Michelle, we'll start with you.
I would encourage anybody to go to a meeting and go and listen directly to the source. I'd let, going to supervisor meetings, there's very few that attend on a weekly basis. But if I was elected, I would encourage anybody to reach out to me, phone, text, email. But then also there's other ways. There's the Harrison County Courthouse has the minutes on the website, and I would encourage anybody to go there to read the minutes. They also record the Board of Supervisor meetings, and you can go to the auditor's office and request to review the video, or also get the minutes if you would like to take something with you. But anyway, I just think that it's going to the source and listening firsthand, or reaching out to a Board of Supervisor to find out what was on the agenda and how things came out.
Okay, now Larry.
Recording and live streaming of weekly meetings should continue. I think that's been a great addition, so that people that do work regular hours can watch a taped recording of it in the evenings if they want to. And on a personal level, my cell phone number and my email address will be readily available to everyone.
Thank you. Brian.
One of the biggest things is I'm very active in my community, so I want to be out with the people, hearing the feedback. My phone number is 712-435-9375. I answer the phone all the time. My wife gets irritated with me at 11 o'clock at night when we're lying in bed, and I pick the phone up. My email is brife@harrisoncountyiowa.gov. I'm always here to answer your questions. Even if it's a tough subject, I will have that conversation with you, and I want your feedback. I'm here to represent you.
Okay, thank you. What is your position on property taxes and how would you approach future tax decisions? And Larry, we'll start with you.
Okay. Nobody likes taxes, but they are a necessary evil. However, everybody likes public services, and many times you hear people say they want better roads, bridges, more law enforcement, etc. Freedom isn't free, and taxes are how we pay for those services. I will base future allocation of resources on informed decisions, investigating each and every service the county controls by communicating with the employees in the respective departments to prioritize where the tax dollars are to be spent. The people of this county deserve the highest level of services, and yet they also deserve to have taxes that are fair and as low as they can possibly be. This is what I see as a primary challenge as a supervisor, providing the best and highest level of services while keeping taxes as low as they can possibly be. Again, common sense.
Brian?
We've got to make those tough choices. The last 4 years or 3 years that I've been part of this budget seasons, we send the budgets back. The department heads bring us the budgets and we tell them to go back to work. They need to do more to get their budget lower. So we're going to keep holding them accountable, keep holding them. This year we cut out the what ifs. There was a lot of what ifs in budgets, and we sent them back and said, cut out the what ifs. We'll worry about the what ifs if the what ifs come up, but we need to only fund what is absolutely necessary.
Michelle?
I sat through a lot of those meetings with the budget, and I agree that they did a great job this year with the what ifs, and that is what you need to do with the property taxes. It's a tough job, and the money only goes so far, and so again, I say wants and needs, and it's a want, excuse me, if it's a need, and it's just it's tough. It's tough everywhere. It's tough in the United States. It's tough for those on fixed incomes, and so we need to see how we can make sure that we're utilizing the property tax and the budget responsibly.
Thank you. What ideas do you have to strengthen economic development and attract new businesses to the county? And Brian, we'll start with you.
So 4 years ago, we were funding economic development. Harrison County Economic Development took a payment for 4 years. That line's now been cut out of the budget, so we're gonna have some tough decisions next year of how do we fund it, are we gonna fund it? What's the path forward for economic development in Harrison County? What can we do to promote it? I don't have the answer right now. I'm open for any suggestions of what Harrison County should do for economic development, growth, and how we come up with funding for it.
Thank you. Michelle?
I would say that, again, working with Economic Development Committee, maybe not just funding them, but just what worked for them, what didn't work for them. Working with your cities, the mayors and city councils and what their needs are. Also working with your schools on more trades. When I was in school, you used to go work at a business and you got some work experience that way. I think that we need to go back to some of that, and then also utilize Iowa Western Community College, especially the bus center, Unite Pathway, where we have students that are learning those trades and get them into starting maybe some part-time business, going off to college and returning to where they lived in Harrison County instead of going off to another city. We can see if we can utilize some of those businesses that are here for some working partnerships also.
Okay. How should the county address? Oh, who'd I miss? Yeah. I gotta put a disclaimer. I'm not for or against any of these candidates. Just make sure y'all understand on that. Okay, Larry.
Well, in the private sector, we're going to need to promote our strengths to commerce and industry. Our county is centrally located and we offer transportation avenues that many counties do not have. US Highway 30 and Interstate 29 offer routes for trucking that go north, south, east, and west. We have rail service that also goes all 4 directions. And air transportation is readily available less than an hour away. However, until we get more people in the county, it is going to be very difficult to attract business and industry. They do demographic studies and they see how many people there is that they can get to attract to come to work for them. And when they're doing those demographic studies right now, the people aren't here. We need good, functional, and preferably new housing in the county.
Okay, thank you. How should the county address emergency services, staffing, funding, and response times? Michelle, we'll start with you.
Again, I'm not sure if there's an issue with this, but I think that the Harrison County is lucky that we have some great emergency services staffing with our volunteer fire departments and personnel. With staffing and funding, I'm not sure on that one, other than working with the department heads to see what kind of issues they've dealt with over the years and what they currently could be dealing with. How can the supervisors help? I'm not sure. The 911 and emergency management personnel, I know that they write a lot of grants, which helps support their funding. So again, understanding how well that works and just working with them in communication.
Thank you. Larry?
Well, I think it should be handled prudently, basically like everything else. As a supervisor, communicate with existing staff in the various departments that handle the emergency services, staffing, the funding, the response times, to ask if everything is adequately served as it is. If not, we need to make the changes. They are the ones that can tell us what needs to be done better than we can as a group.
Okay. Brian?
I believe this question is about the EMS services tax levy that can be placed. I oppose it. It's another tax. I think we have great EMS in this county. I don't see how throwing dollars at a fire department gets people in the door. We have aging populations. We need to figure out ways to get younger people into our towns. When we get younger people into our towns, our EMS and our fire departments are going to grow with their staff. I don't see taxing to get more people in the door. Coming from a fire department, we're doing fine. We don't need tax dollars to fund our EMS.
Thank you. How will you work with state and federal agencies to secure funding or grants for county projects? And Larry?
Okay. I believe grant applications should be handled by the individual departments. Again, they understand, they know what they need, and that is not really in our scope to handle grant applications. The individual departments should do that, not the Board of Supervisors.
Brian?
I agree with what Larry said. Our sheriff's office, the sheriff's sitting in the back of the room, they are top notch at getting grants. They are constantly going for grants. Conservation, they're always getting grants. We have department heads who are excellent at grant writing. So I think we continue to support them. As far as supervisors, there's not a lot for us to write for grants. That's the department heads are doing it and they're doing it well.
Okay. Michelle?
I agree with everything Brian said. Being at the supervisors meetings, I hear those things, and talking to, I've heard some of the department heads talk about the grant writing that they've done, the conservation board, the sheriff. In fact, the other day I asked the sheriff how much he's received in grants over the last year or so, and he said anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000. That is great, and I don't know how some of these departments can manage without doing some of these grant writing. So again, I agree that it's not the Board of Supervisors, it's those departments that are doing a great job, and for them to continue to do a great job.
Okay, thank you. What is your stance on land use issues such as wind turbines, solar farms, and other programs and conservation programs. And Brian, we'll start with you.
Yeah, that's a hot topic right now across the state of Iowa. We have a moratorium we put in place to stop wind and solar from coming until we get all of the ordinances up to date. My fear is we're gonna see state legislation that mandates you're going to have it. We're gonna continue to fight that, but I think we need to probably look at where does Harrison County want this stuff, if we want it at all. If it comes back that the residents of Harrison County say, no, absolutely not, then we'll make the ordinance and wait for the state to come and tell us what we have to do. But I will do whatever you folks want. If you don't want it here, then we'll put it in the ordinance that it's not gonna be here.
Michelle?
I'm not a fan of wind turbines or solar farms. I don't know that anybody has proven right now that it's benefits, that it's more financially for those. If anybody wants to have solar on their own individual property, that's not a problem. But solar farms, I don't think that we need that in Harrison County. Conservation programs, we currently have conservation in Harrison County through the Conservation Board up at Woodbine, and then also the NRCS has a conservation program. So currently there is conservation in Harrison County that's going quite well, and so I don't know that anything else is needed with that.
Thank you. Larry?
The wind turbines and the solar farms, I believe we should look at a lot closer. Most of the time these ventures are not as green as they make them out to be, specifically because of the disposal concerns for the batteries at the end of their effective life. Also, the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court came down with a decision saying that it was going to be in the hands of the counties to determine whether you want the wind turbines or not. We also have in place the land use with the front face of the Luss Hills that does not allow the wind turbines on there. So I think we're in a pretty good position there. As far as conservation programs, I'm a pheasant hunter as well as a farmer, and I support programs such as the CRP if they are administrated with common sense. That means only marginally productive ground being put in there, and I believe the Harrison County Conservation Board should mirror those.
Okay, thank you. How should the county support public health, mental health services, and access to care? Michelle, we'll start with you.
Currently, we are fortunate to have a great public health department. In fact, the Board of Health Director attends the Board of Supervisor meetings on a regular basis. He informs the supervisors on what changes are coming down, and so I think that we are lucky to have them. And with any issues arise, I guess I don't see that any issues with that, other than he's doing a great job, and he informs the Board of Supervisors on anything that's maybe changing.
Okay. Larry?
With an aging population, I believe it is important to support home and public health. Mental health is no longer handled at the county level, but I do believe we should pay attention to that when there's a need and we direct it to the correct people. Access is handled through the private sector. With our hospital, it's a private entity, not a government-run entity, which is, like most enterprises, is preferable to government running them.
Brian?
Yeah, as Larry mentioned, mental health is no longer county funded. There are parts of it, the transportation, Harrison County is still on the hook for. That's another state mandate that they cut reimbursement for. So we need to work with trying to get more of that money back from the state that they're mandating for us. Public health is very important for our aging population. We're keeping a lot of folks in their own homes longer because of our public health. We also have the homemakers who are going in and helping folks stay in their houses. So we have to continue to support them. We have to work with state representatives and do what we can to get more state dollars here to help our public health stay functioning.
Okay, What role should the county play in supporting local law enforcement and public safety initiatives? And Larry, we'll start with you.
I believe we should support the sheriff's office and our local police departments, which are dwindling, but they are still here. We should support the sheriff's office to the best of our abilities. Our county has always been relatively low in crime, and we need to continue to strive to make that even better. One of our top priorities is to keep our people and communities safe.
Okay, Brian?
In my opinion, no matter what level of government you are, public safety is the first priority. We have to continue to keep our sheriff's office funded, give them the resources they need, and support them in whatever way we can. But we also have to be mindful of the tax dollars. So there's a balance that has to happen. The local PDs are struggling. You see them dwindling. Logan no longer has a PD. You're seeing that all across the state where the PDs are merging with the sheriff's office. So it's an issue we have to figure out. We have a sheriff elected to do what he needs to do and work with us to get the funding that's needed.
Michelle?
Again, I believe that we have a great law enforcement in the county. They're doing great things, going to schools, they're doing programs, they're involved in crime stopping. They're out in the public, and so we need to keep supporting them. Again, as I stated earlier, they're doing grants to help stay within their budget. And so keeping them accountable to their budgets, but then also we know that they're going outside and keeping up with things that they couldn't do if they didn't have the grants within the budget. So.
Okay, how will you ensure that county decisions reflect the needs of both longtime residents and younger families? And Brian, we'll start with you. How will you ensure that county decisions reflect the needs of both longtime residents and younger families?
One of the most important things to continue to grow is providing something for the younger people. As you look at studies, the first thing people look at is the landscape. The second thing they look at is recreation, outdoor recreation. So those two things are important. We already have the landscape. We have a beautiful landscape here in Harrison County. And then we also have to, with public health, we gotta keep our older folks around too. I love the balance that we have in Harrison County with young people and the older aging population. But we're seeing fewer and fewer younger people stay here. So we have to find ways to get them younger folks attracted to Harrison County. Let them see what we have for outdoor recreation. I think with conservation, they're doing an excellent job of providing that outdoor recreation. Here in Missouri Valley, we now have Primary Hill that is public access for outdoor recreation.
Michelle?
I agree with outdoor recreation, that's a need for the youth. One of the top things for young families is also daycare. Daycare is a top priority for families that we don't have anything other than in-home daycares, which is expensive. And we're hearing that individuals are having to quit to stay home to care for their young children. So that one is one of the top ones for me. The other one is also for the younger younger families is working with the schools and making sure that they're taking advantage of the programs that Iowa Western is offering through the College Credit and Trades program down at the Bus Center and through Iowa Western in general. And then for the elderly, again, just those opportunities for them to have programs, and then also if they need a retirement home or they need a retirement someplace to live, we need to have those opportunities for them.
Thank you. Larry?
I believe that also that we need to continue to offer outdoor recreation possibilities. The state forest has hiking trails that get used more and more every year, but I also believe it's with prudent use of our tax dollars. By passing a diverse budget that is fair to all citizens, it is age neutral. Homeowners over 65 qualify for an elderly credit on their taxes, and all ages qualify for a homestead exemption. Again, a common sense approach, make sure everyone is taken care of.
Thank you. What role should the county have in helping to solve the TCE contamination of the water in the county? And Michelle, we'll start with you.
I'm not quite sure what the Board of Supervisors has for their role for the TCE, other than listening to the concerns and then visiting with the Corps of Engineers to understand what they have done, where they're at in their steps, and what they're doing next. Again, it's not that nobody's not listening, it's just that we need to make sure that where they're at in their steps, they're staying on track, and then keeping the county informed. I've visited with a number of individuals who live in that area, and some of them have been there for a long time, and they have the filtration systems in their basements, they have their wells tested, and they're not concerned as much as some that are as aware and haven't been here as long, and they don't even know anything about it. So they're a little concerned when they hear certain things that are going on, and so I think it's just really informing them of what has been, what has happened in the past, and what the Corps of Engineers is currently doing.
Okay, Larry?
The county should monitor what the federal agencies that are in charge are doing to address the situation. By insisting on updates on their progress and any changes in their policies, they will know we are paying attention and that we will not allow them to put it on the back burner. A potable water supply is one of our most essential resources, and I understand the people that are worrying about this. I'm not a scientist, but I am intelligent enough to understand if they are making progress and cleaning it up.
Brian?
The biggest thing for us is to stay informed and also get information out to the public that's factual. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so getting that factual information, and when it comes from our board, it needs to be factual. We cannot be getting misinformation from our board. Continue to work with the DNR and the Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers has a contractor hired. It's not even the Corps doing the work. Jacobson Contractor is doing the work. So continuing to get updates from them. We cannot, as taxpayers in Harrison County, afford to do what they're doing. Their budget is in the millions. We don't want to put that back on Harrison County taxpayers. So we need to continue to work with them, take their advice on wells when it comes time for new wells, and get that good information out to you guys.
Okay. Why do you believe you are the best candidate to represent the people of Harrison County on the Board of Supervisors? And Larry, we'll start with you.
I believe I'm the best candidate for supervisor because of several things. My background in economics gives me some special tools for resolving government financial issues. Secondly, my leadership capabilities. I have served on numerous boards, many of them as president. Thirdly, my professionalism. Along with that comes courage to stand up for my principles and fight for what is right. And that is what I need to hear from you. What I hear from you, Thomas Jefferson said a statesman is the one that does the best for the most amount of his constituents that he can possibly do. And that's what I promise to do for you.
Okay, Brian?
Having the experience with government budgets, I feel sets me up for this position. Being from the city and working with that smaller budget, it's really difficult to make things work and run a town on that small of a budget. It's taught me to be mindful of the tax dollars and only spend them where they're needed. I'm the incumbent running. I think that gives me a little boost here. These two are great. I can't say a bad thing about them. But I have that experience, 4 years working with the county budget, knowing the different departments. And I've also been building relationships, not only at the county level, but the state and federal level as well.
Michelle?
From somebody who's been attending meetings since 2024, September 2024, I feel that I have an edge. I understand what has gone on weekly basis at the meetings. And then also my experience, my background, my experience as a director, overseeing budget, policy development, just working with colleagues and understanding what is coming down the road, planning, what kind of things you do in a year, and just kind of understanding how the Board of Supervisors works. And again, my background, my communication, my customer service skills, and then just be one of the few members that's been attending since I ran the last time in 2024.
Okay, I got some very good questions coming in from the floor. Thank you, guys. Michelle, we'll start with you, and I'll repeat this kind of for each one of you, where this is the first look you're really getting in. Would you consider a 0.5 to 1% sales tax in Harrison County for property tax relief?
At the current time, I'm not sure that I would. I just think that right now, I don't think that the community residents can afford anymore. Everything is so high right now. I'm not sure that I would support a 1 to 1.5%. I'm sorry, 1 to 1.5.
0.5 to 1%.
0.5 to 1%, sorry.
And Brian, we'll just come right back up to you.
Okay. I think on something like that, that's a ballot issue. I would support putting it on the ballot and letting you folks vote on it. If it's going to give property tax relief, I would let it be on the ballot. I would support it. I don't know what the trade-off really is there. If we're gonna drop property taxes, then yes, absolutely.
Larry?
I don't like any new taxes. I just think that we're taxed and we're taxed and we're taxed. Will it help with property tax? That's so ambiguous that I don't know as we can even consider that. Again, I've said it 100 times, we need to build the tax base up. Then we'll have more people spending money in the county, and the current rates of sales tax that we have will help support, and our property taxes will stay level or go down.
Okay, Brian, I'm gonna start with you on this one. What is your favorite part of public service and why?
The people, working with people. We have great people in Harrison County, and I get to work with them every day. There's a good feeling that comes about me with giving back. Being on the fire department, I just love helping people. That's the best thing about public service, is give back.
Okay, Michelle?
Mine would also be just being out in the public. I think the reason why I started going to supervisors meetings is because I was home, not doing so much, and it reminded me of what I used to do, and so I enjoy that. And then also I do a lot of concessions, and the reason why I do concessions is I see people that I wouldn't normally see if I was at home or if I wasn't at somewhere else. You see a lot of people that are there now with their children or their grandchildren. In fact, the other day I saw somebody that I used to work with, and so you don't see those if you're just out. So being out in the public, again, my customer service, I like visiting with people and I like communicating.
Larry?
Well, I haven't been in public service, but I would sure like to have the opportunity to do so. And the main reason is I love this county. Obviously, I've been here 66 years. I've been here my entire life. I've raised my family here. I've gone to school here. My kids have gone to school here. My grandkids are going to. And it's because of the people. The people make this county great. We just need to bring some more in. We need to get more people involved in this county, and by producing new housing within the confines of the towns, we can attract more people because they'll be able to afford those houses.
Okay. Back to you, Brian. To follow up on that, they want to know what your least favorite is.
Public speaking.
That doesn't take long, right?
No.
Short and sweet. Okay. Michelle?
I'm trying to think of what my least favorite is. I'm not sure. I guess it would be with, when you're doing a budget and you have to tell somebody, even, doing concessions, you have to tell somebody that they don't have enough money. It's always about the money, and I think that's the hardest part, is if somebody doesn't have enough, and I think that's where it is.
Okay, Larry?
Again, I haven't been in public service, but my least favorite thing in private industry, as well as what public service would be, is conflict. I don't like conflict with people. I love everybody, I try to get along with everybody, but there are times when it is necessary, and you have to conflict, and you just have to make sure that you are doing it in a good way, and that you look at both sides of an issue, and that you make sure you understand what that other person is conflicting with you about, and then try to come to a good resolution.
Okay, an interesting here one. Has showing up for Board of Supervisor meetings year-round make a candidate qualified to be a supervisor? Michelle, I know you've attended a lot of meetings, and Larry has too, and I know Brian's there. Michelle?
So can you repeat the question? Does it make some?
Showing up for the supervisor meetings year-round, do you think that makes a candidate qualified to be a supervisor?
Not necessarily. You have to look at what has a person done. For me, it's that I did this as I was a director. I was responsible for attending a weekly meeting, with 30 other directors, where I had to give input and I had to make tough decisions. I had to answer to colleagues. And so I see that that's the Board of Supervisors, is that you're making tough decisions, you're doing policy development, you're not always making everyone happy. There's times when I've been there that I don't agree with the decisions that have been made, but it needs to be done. You have to follow policy, you have to follow the law, and so just showing up does not make somebody a good Board of Supervisor, but I think that you have to look at where they came from in their background and what they can contribute also.
Okay, Brian, what do you think about that?
I don't know if that's so necessary to be qualified just by showing up, but I do think it gives you a step forward if you are elected, to know what's going on. A lot of the bigger issues that have been getting dealt with for quite some time, if you've been there listening to the meetings, when it comes time for you to vote on that, you have that step forward.
Larry?
Well, I think it's part of the overall package. I don't think just going to the meetings makes you qualified. I think it's your outlook and your investigating through the minutes and investigating and understanding what the problems are within the county and trying to get an overall feel for that. Going to the meetings certainly does help, because again, you get to know personalities, you get to know their feelings about certain things that you can't really get from a recording or from the minutes.
Thank you. What role should the county play in helping communities prepare for Highway 30 bypass impacts and opportunities? What role should the county play in helping communities prepare for Highway 30 bypass impacts and opportunities? Larry, you want to start us out?
Well, that's been in the top 5 DOT programs since I was 5 years old. So I would say let's address it when it happens. I mean, I know it's getting closer and getting closer and getting closer, and I hope I live long enough to see it come to fruition. But I think we need to be ready, and we need to offer whatever services we can without raising taxes to foster those changes and those help. Because the DOT and the other entities that will be doing this will be, for the most part, financially responsible for it.
Okay, Brian?
Yeah, I wish the county had a bigger role in it. One of the biggest concerns I have is where, on the east end, where the bypass comes into Highway 30, that to me looks pretty dangerous. Our secondary roads is involved quite a bit with intersections. Right now we have Canal Street Bridge is closed, so we need to be trying to push the DOT and try and get this project moving forward quicker. I also think that we need to work with the city of Missouri Valley, and Highway 30 now needs to be called the Leonard Ratliff Memorial Highway.
Yes.
I think the role of the supervisors is just communication. Whatever they know, that they should communicate to the, public if it hasn't already been put out there. You know, again, this has been going on for many, many years that it's gonna go through. And if this board of supervisors has any information, or even what the setbacks are, just communicate that so that everybody's aware.
Thank you. Okay, what plans or thoughts do you have on improvements to have the meetings more accessible to the public? Any thoughts on improvements and plans to make the meetings more accessible to the public? Brian, I'll start with you.
Sure. We have rearranged the room. I don't know if anybody's noticed that or been to the meetings to see, but there's a lot more seating in there. We took the desks out. All three supervisors are now sitting at one table on one end of the room so that there is more seating. The building is handicap accessible. There's a handicap entrance. There's an elevator. You can get into the room. I would like to consider taking the counter out. We have to look at the historical aspect of the building and see what can be done and what can't be done. But we did make a lot more seating in there by rearranging the room, and that credit goes to the auditor.
Okay, Michelle?
Read it again, I'm sorry.
What thoughts on improvements and plans would you have to make the meetings more accessible to the public?
Again, the room is, changing the room around has been great. It was before that you couldn't hear, now you can hear and you can see. Most of the time there's less than 5 people there, so it's not really an issue. I guess, one of the things is I've heard that the meeting should be in the evenings. I did look, and all the other counties around us do not have meetings in the evenings, they're all during the day. So I think that makes sense to have the meetings continue during the day. But again, I just think that individuals, if they can, make it to a meeting, read the minutes in the paper, go online, and talk to a board supervisor.
Okay, Larry?
Well, I think it has been addressed with the rearranging. I think that was wise, and it does make more room. I think the live streaming and the recording is good, so people that work during the day can see it. I would like to see a couple more housekeeping items in there. There's no there's a little tiny American flag, but there needs to be a big American flag and a big Iowa flag in there. So we need to figure that out. Whether we hang one from the rafters or however we do it, that needs to be done. The accessibility for people otherwise, I think, has been addressed and is pretty good.
Okay. Would you be willing to move the meetings to nights? Larry, I'm just gonna start with you and go right straight down.
I guess if that was what the majority of the people in the county wanted, I would not be averse to it, but how many conflicts are you gonna have? I mean, you've got church, you've got basketball games, you've got other responsibilities that people have, and most of them are in the evenings. So I think it would be rather difficult. I think the live streaming and the recording and the minutes and all of those things, by doing it at regular business hours, I think is the most efficient and the best way to handle it.
Brian?
I agree with Larry on that. We've looked at it. It's not practical. We have too many department heads that come in and answer. We have to pay overtime. We have contractors come in and meet with us. It would just be difficult to move it at night. We also have to serve on many other boards. Some of those meet at night. Me with a family at home, I don't want to take any more time away from my family than I already do, so I'm opposed to it.
Michelle?
I also agree with them that I think that moving the meetings to the night would be very difficult I've seen where the individuals that come in, that need to talk about, whatever's on the agenda, they might not be able to make it. Sometimes they do need to ask for assistance, from a department, so they need to run back to their office, and, that would be just overtime that would need to be, so I don't think that again, being consistent with other, counties, I think that what Harrison County is doing is appropriate.
Thank you. Housing continues to be a growing concern across Harrison County. What specifics, actions, or policies would you, as a supervisor, support to encourage new housing development, improve access to affordable housing, and help attract and retain families, young professionals, and workers in our communities? It's the housing question, guys. What would you do? Larry?
Start with you. Okay, well, this is my bread and butter. I think that all of our communities, though we're small towns, I know there's issues in towns finding lots to build houses, but I think we need to promote that. We need to get private investment, builders. I work with certain builders that we are looking for places to build new homes within the county. There will always be people that come in and want to buy acreages and build houses out in the country, which is fine, because they are very expensive properties and they add to our tax base. But for us to save our schools and raise our population the way we need to promote these smaller towns and get some private investment to build new affordable homes for starter families.
All right.
We have to work with the towns. We've got to figure out a way to get homes around the towns. The infrastructure is there. They have the water, they have the sewer. That's where, in my mind, the housing needs to grow. If you watch economic growth, the first thing that pops up is a school, and then the houses come around that. We also need daycares in the area for those young families. We are struggling for daycares here. As far as from a county standpoint, what to do, I don't have a good answer. We could look at TIF, help the private sector with developers get in here, use the TIF laws to be able to help support those developers, but we also have to be careful with that. Right now, Harrison County has $19 million in TIF districts, and that puts more burden on everybody that's not in a TIF district. So we have to be mindful of those TIF laws and use them responsibly.
What does TIF stand for?
Tax increment financing. They let the builder off the hook for a certain amount of time. He doesn't have to pay tax on that property until it's sold, and then the buyers get a little bit of a break for a few years too. It's a long-term thing, and usually it works really well. Drive through Sergeant Bluff sometime and see how many houses were built in Sergeant Bluff because of TIF and Woodbine.
Michelle?
I would say with housing is that, we do have some areas now that housing is being developed, and the houses are being built. I still go back to, some of our towns have some empty buildings that I think that we should get some builders, in there and see what they can do for some of those things. I think I drive by a place in Logan all the time that it would be great for a housing, for some apartments. And I don't know if we have many builders in the area, so I go back to, how do we get the young kids involved in construction? And iWestern used to have a building maintenance program, and it was great that the kids could build houses and do some construction, and I think that we're missing out on some of that. But again, it's a difficult, it's difficult right now. Housing is very expensive, and I don't know what the answer is.
Okay, I think we're ready for closing statements. And Larry, I'll let you go first. I will.
Well, on this housing issue, I'm going to have a meet and greet tomorrow night at Goodfellows in Woodbine. I can't answer these questions in 1 minute to give you a good idea about the housing issues. So you're all invited to that from 5:30 to 7 and later if we need to. But in closing, I would like to thank Mo Valley Chamber, moderator Connie McWilliams, even though she teased me a little bit, and all attendees. This shows that you are interested in making a difference in the county, and I applaud you for that. I love this county, and it has been a lifelong dream to promote it. I have 2 mantras: golden rule, treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and leave this world a better place than you found it. I want to make Harrison County a better place than I found it. That's why I want to be your supervisor. I have 3 pillars of my campaign: honesty, integrity, and common sense. And I guarantee you, I stick to all 3 of those. And I would be honored and privileged to receive your vote.
Brian?
I would like to thank Gene and the chamber for putting this on, Connie for moderating. It's always great to have Connie as a moderator. The timekeepers, you guys have done great. All of you for showing up and becoming informed voters. It's so important for voters to get informed. Over the past 3 years plus, I have worked with the county. We cut out $600,000 a year in outside trucking for secondary roads. We need to use our money more wisely. So by not hiring contractors and having the county haul that rock themselves, save the taxpayers $600,000 a year. We made a decision to share the engineer. It's temporary, just to try it out. That's $70,000 a year to the Harrison County taxpayers. We moved the cleaning services for the courthouse in-house and hired. There was savings with that. We moved IT in-house and cut out all of the contractors. There was 4 contractors doing IT. That's now under 1 person who will be starting June 1st. That was a huge savings. 4 years ago when I campaigned, I talked about the county attorney and having to buy or pay for rent in a county attorney office. We now have a county attorney who is full-time dedicated to Harrison County and in a county office. We're no longer paying rent, and she is doing outstanding. She just took on a 37-year-old cold case and was successful. We balanced the budget, working with the budget director. That was huge. I have drainage experience. I'm not an expert in drainage. I don't know as I ever will be. I learn every day. But I do bring that drainage experience to the table. I've been working to fight the floodplain issues to help with our housing growth. I'm out of time, but my phone number is 712-435-9375. Thanks.
I'd also like to thank everybody for being here, and Connie and everybody, just what you've done here today. Thank you for everybody who attended. I guess I didn't really have much to say other than thank you for coming. I think that if I was selected as the Board of Supervisor, I think I'd be a great asset. I do have the background, and I know that it's a tough job, and anything in customer service, which I think that this is, supporting the community and making tough decisions. You're not always going to make everybody happy, but if you've made the right decisions by the end of the day, then that's what it boils down to. Like the other 2, which I don't think that we can go wrong with either Brent or Larry, that I think that we're all passionate about Harrison County, that we've lived here a long time. We've volunteered, we support our communities, we live in our communities, we work in our communities, and so I think that just any of us would be a great supervisor. And if I was selected, I just think that, being at the meetings helps tremendously. I have some knowledge, but again, it boils down to I do have the customer or some public speaking, so that's not an issue for me. I was in charge of graduations and had to do a lot of public speaking, and so but I just think that listening to the residents and understanding what the needs are, and working with towns and the mayors and the city councils, which I've not done a lot of, but I'd like to, and just just helping Harrison County grow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now you folks can give these folks
Thank you, candidates. You all did a wonderful job. Thank you to our audience. I hope that you're now better informed. The building will stay open until 8:30. So if you want to talk to one of the candidates individually, you're welcome